Hi everyone and welcome to the second ever Evolved Exchange. My name is Sally Guest from Evolved Living. I'm a high performance coach, author and event planner. The Evolved Exchange is all about exchanging information, inspiration and education with amazing, extraordinary people who have dedicated their lives to developing human performance. So today I'm extremely excited to introduce you all to Barbara Ann Guiney. Now, I've known Barb for, I think it's around 5 years. Is that right, Barb?
I do believe so.
And Barbara's an American Canadian who I found living in tiny little Tauranga, New Zealand. And I sought Barb out because Dave and I were actually looking to learn how to meditate. And Barbara was, I think, the only coach in New Zealand who was certified in Deepak Chopra's primordial sound meditation. This really resonated for us. So we called up Barb and we absolutely hit it off, didn't we, Barb, right from the get-go. And
Absolutely.
Barb really became a mentor to me. She's
Mhm.
also an author of 4 books and a teacher. So she's certified to teach in Deepak's 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. Now, we could talk for hours, I reckon, so we might have to do more than one interview. But today I think we'll just focus on meditation, given that that is how we met in the first place. So, as you know, Barb, Evolved Living, we have a philosophy around what it takes to reach our full potential and sustain our results. And we believe that there's 5 key areas. So number one is a healthy and balanced mindset. Two is mind-body connection. Three is physical input, so nutrition. Fourth is physical output, so exercise. And fifth is mind-body restoration. So I think that meditation probably crosses over all of those areas. But you also happen to have an extremely similar philosophy that's outlined in your book, Healthy Options. So why don't you just introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about your book and your philosophy?
Thank you, Sally.
No
And it's good to
worries.
see you again. I started out many years ago when I was 20 that my mother had her colon removed. She had ulcerative colitis and she had an ileostomy. And so I thought, wow, why did this happen to her? And when I was 43, which was her age at the time, I didn't want that to happen to me. So my quest for understanding how the body works, why certain people get certain diseases, started back when I was 20, and that's many decades ago. And I started doing research around the world. And in the process, of course, when you're looking for things, I started learning a lot when I was in Europe and how different people made or accomplished their health or lack thereof. And of course, along the way, you run into Dr. Deepak Chopra, among many other people. And so I fell in love with his book, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, when I opened my health clinic in New Hampshire. And I wrote him a letter and said, can I please teach that? And he was blown away that I asked the question that, can I? Because a lot of people just do these things. So we ended up meeting and he gave me permission and I started teaching it when the book came out in 1994. And in the process, of course, I had been meditating, doing transcendental meditation since 1976.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it's been 40 years, almost 40 years that I've been doing meditation.
Surely you're not that old, Barb.
Oh, yes. I will be 67 in February and
Does
quite
she
proud
not
of
look amazing?
meditation and living in paradise, New Zealand certainly helps all of that. Um, but yeah, I thank you. I ended up becoming his primordial sound meditation teacher after he asked me to, and I started traveling with him around the world and doing different things. And in the process of all this learning, I came up with my own idea. How do I help people when I had my center? And I wrote the first book called Natural Options, which is a quick guide for people. Because back in the day, 20 years ago, when I wrote it in 95, they people would go into natural health food stores. They wouldn't know where to begin, what to do. So I wrote this book to give them some kind of idea of how to begin quickly, simply. I like simple. And
Mhm.
in the process, I forgot to say, this is the wheel that I devised in my meditation. It came to me in meditation. Is meditation gives you a lot of creativity. And in my meditation, I saw us, all of us, as wheels going down the path of life. As we go down the path of life, we hit bumps in the road. How strong our spokes are determine how we are going to handle those bumps. So like you, I devised 5 spokes. And in the 5 spokes, 3 of them are physical, 2 of them are mental. The 3 physical, of course, like you, nutrition. You are what you eat. It is important what you eat because the chemicals that you absorb go into the cells of your body, affect your mind and every aspect of your being. The second is exercise, as you brought up, move it or lose it. You really
Mhm.
need to keep moving. Sedentary lives are very harsh on both the mind and the body.
Totally.
And then the third is detoxification because of my mother, because of her losing her colon. I wondered why, what is important. And we all know that we have to clean our bodies. In nature, birds do it. God knows Benjamin Franklin did it many years ago with his air baths. I mean, I dug into history and saw that detoxification is definitely important in life to get rid of the what we don't need, what is not to our highest good, both mentally and physically. So the
Mm.
mental part, hanging with Deepak Chopra for so long and traveling, you pick up, these ideas and understanding. I read his research, and the meditation to me is the be all and end all of everything. Because if you don't listen to yourself and listen what's unique for you, because we're all different, we can't all eat the same thing and have it feed our bodies. We're different. Some of us are allergic to certain things or we don't digest them. We need more exercise, some of us, than others. And detoxification, some people can't handle certain things to detox and others can handle everything well. So we're all unique. So the meditation and listening to your uniqueness is important while surrounding yourself with positivity. Because positive energy, Deepak boils everything down to energy and information, as well
Mm.
as many other great wise people. And I have learned to believe that from everything I've seen. So if everything is energy and information, why not have the positive? Why
Mm.
have negative? And it does have a very difficult effect on you, as Dr. Masaru Emoto showed in his book Messages in the Water, with just looking at water and speaking to it harshly versus speaking to it kindly. The
Mm.
different structures it would, when you froze it and then started thawing it, what the structures would be, beautiful or ugly. So we all know, talking to plants, they thrive when you talk nice to them. So all of this positive energy, as well as the mental energy, after I wrote that book, I looked at us holistically in those days, but
Mhm.
then I realized that so many people were getting out with nutrition and all that and exercise. I thought, no, I want to focus on the mind, and the meditation became my thing to do and help
Mm.
people understand it.
Oh, that's amazing. And I've been to, several different courses that you've done for meditation. Because remember, you hosted a couple of courses at our old chiropractic clinic in Taronga. Um,
Absolutely.
so I guess that's the perfect segue really into our first area, which is mindset and having a healthy and balanced mindset. I mean, I guess you'd say that meditation is probably one of the most important things that you can do to foster the right attitude and to focus on that which benefits you versus that which kind of pulls you back. So maybe just talk a little bit about your philosophy around having a positive attitude and having a strong mindset to achieve what you want.
Well, I believe that, as you said, I mean, all 5 are important. All
Mm.
aspects of our being are important, but these are essential, in my opinion, because they have such a direct effect on our whole being.
Mm.
And I perceive us to be, we're like trees. And we're all going to have storms in our lives. We see our trees outside, and we have some lovely trees here in New York and Taronga. And so I look at it, when you know who you are And when you feed your soul and do what makes your heart sing, your roots to your tree go deeper and deeper into the earth
Mm.
because you're strong, you're healthy, you're happy. And then when the storms come, as they always do, depending upon how deep your roots are, determines how you're going to handle the storm. We all know some trees crack because they're
Mhm.
too rigid. They're not bending to the environment. And then we have those that just totally go backwards, fall totally out, the
Yeah.
roots show everything. They're like so weak, so shallow, they just couldn't stand it. And then you have the tree that is strong within their self with deep roots, and they sway with the wind, and when the storm is gone they come back to who they are, even stronger. Mother Nature has taught us that we need to go with the flow, and that's what
Mm.
a strong tree and a strong person does. So yes, you'll have negativity around you, but the strength of the positivity within your tree determines how you will handle that negativity.
So tying that in then to boundaries in life, and keeping a great connection between your mind and your body. I mean, it's all about environment, isn't it? I mean, it's who you surround yourself with and the environment that you create in terms of what you're putting into your body and what you're doing to your body that really influences your performance in life.
Absolutely. And just like we say, when we put people on diets, and I hate the word diet, but we're trying to make them live a healthier, eat a healthier
Mm.
lifestyle, then we don't say put chocolate in, and all the crummy food in your kitchen. No, get rid of it. The environment affects you. And
Mm.
then surround yourself. And when you do that for yourself physically, you also need to do that for yourself mentally. So
Mm.
if you have people in your life that are negative, and they drain your energy, because once again everything is energy and information. Something either makes your heart sing and gives you energy and enlightens you, or it drains you to the point where you're exhausted and you're so tired when you're done with the person or the place or the thing. So the same way physically with diet, which people understand, with eating, as well as with your mind and your happiness, those go hand in hand. That's the mind body connection that is
Mm.
exactly the same. As you feed your soul healthy, you also need to feed, obviously, your body healthy. Both need to be fed properly.
Absolutely. Um, and so for you, like if you're talking about feeding your mind and soul and also feeding your body, what what philosophy or what approach do you adopt yourself? Like, so what kind of foods do you eat? What kind of foods do you avoid? And what do you do to kind of keep your mind and your body connected?
Well, I believe everybody's different, so I would
Mm.
never say one thing for everybody. But what I firmly believe in is following nature.
Mm.
Nature knows, nature manifests easily, effortlessly. Life should be effortless. When you're fighting something, you're going against the grain of the universe, I believe. And the seven spiritual laws, which I've now been teaching for 21 years, and every time I teach it, I get something new out of it because we're ever evolving. And when
Mm.
you read something different, you're going to look at it differently and absorb something different from it energetically. And I believe that I always go to the seven laws and I look at that to answer the question, what do I need to do? We all have questions. Where do I go? Where's my direction in life? I have clients that come to me, they don't know where they are, where they're going. And I said, that's a great place to be because you're pregnant with infinite possibilities. So
Yeah.
but you've got to then sit back with meditation. To me, that's the thing. Listening to yourself and your uniqueness will tell you what you should eat, how much you should exercise. I was fortunate enough to study with Dr. James Diadamo, who was the creator of the diet for your blood type. And then
Mm.
his son, Dr. Peter Diadamo, took it to the public and wrote the books about it. But James Diadamo, he was the one that did the research for over 50 years. And he lived to his 90s, and he just passed away within the last couple of years while you and I were both living in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyway, he taught me that he learned that not all blood types are the same. So we have such uniqueness within each other, and you have to look at that. But when I met him and he pricked my finger and read my blood tape, he told me who I was, what I liked, what I didn't like, my mental, my physical, everything about me. And that was under the microscope looking at the blood. And he said, your blood is your chemistry. It's who you are.
Mm.
And I had the same tendencies. Like he said, don't eat chicken. I've never really liked chicken. It doesn't
Mm.
digest in my system. So we
Wow.
each know if we listen.
Yeah.
So follow
Right.
that.
Yeah. That's great advice. But a lot of people would say, with the meditation, oh, I can't keep my mind still enough for long enough to even hear the messages. And then number two, um, in terms of what we're putting into our bodies, people would say, well, I have no clue, like it's so messed up. I have no clue or no kind of intuition around what's going on in my body. I can't distinguish whether it's the gluten or the dairy or the chicken. So
Yeah.
what do you say to that in terms of developing that kind of innate sense of what's right for us?
Well, I meet so many people who are like that because, especially women, we spend
Mm,
our lives taking care of everything outside of us. And as Deepak always said, people talk about an out of body experience is a rarity. The truth is, an in body experience is a rarity because
mm,
few of us go really deep within and say, who am I? What do I like? What do I don't like? My mother always said, if you don't know what you like, eliminate what you don't like. At least you
yeah,
narrow the field. But with the meditation, you're right. So many people have, this is the number one fallacy that I've been fighting all these years of teaching it. People will come to me and say, I can't meditate. Every time I sit down to meditate, I get so many thoughts, I just can't meditate. The reality is, you are meditating. When you sit down and take that moment for yourself and ask your whole being, how you feeling right now, it will come to you in only three areas. That's it. There's only three responses your body can give to in your mind. The first one is that you will get a lot of thoughts. And that's so common because you spend the day thinking, thinking, thinking. And so when you sit down, you go, okay, I don't want to think anymore. Your brain and your mind gives you the same response that your leg does when you go to sleep at night. When you lay down at night, you start twitching because
yeah,
you've tensed up all day, right? And then what is that? That's your muscle releasing the tension from the day.
yeah,
When you go to sit down in the chair, same thing.
mm,
You've been busy, busy, busy up here. The conscious mind is keeping you away from the unconscious mind. Then that is the opportunity we call the stress bubbles are being released. So to be honest, that is probably your most productive meditation
mm,
because if you stay seated, you are releasing those stress bubbles as opposed to carrying it with you to the next meditation. We all do meditate every day on an irregular basis, like driving in the car. You're driving along, you get to your destination, and you go, wow, that was fast.
yeah,
I can't remember doing it. And that's because your mind said, I need to get out of here for a while, just kind of go be. But yet you were alert. We call it restful alertness
mm,
meditation, just like the driving. You were alert enough to avoid any problems that came to your path in your path when you're driving. Same with in the shower. When you're in the shower, you get great ideas. I wrote my first book between meditation and showers, and to me, it's a form of meditation in the shower.
for
And
sure.
yeah, you just get great ideas. And I asked Deepak this years ago, and he told me that because your senses are heightened, that way you're getting out of the physical body and you're in your senses. Therefore, that's the creativity. The creativity and your answers to your questions are in the space between your thoughts, which he calls the gap.
Mm,
So if you can do it on a regular basis, not just when you're driving or when you're in the shower, haphazardly, just like you feed yourself every day, you
mm,
need to then feed your soul every day on a regular basis, like we do with our meals. So you give a meal to your soul, and then you would be able to determine what feels good for me. Where am I? Who am I? And this feels better for me. This doesn't feel so good. And as Deepak always said, you get a reaction in your gut or your heart if you're listening. But you have
mm.
to get rid of all of this in order to listen.
That's so true. I remember you actually saying one time that meditation is the balance to prayer.
That's right.
So, I mean, a lot of the viewers will, understand prayer from the perspective of their own faith. But even for people who don't necessarily subscribe to a certain faith, but are open to infinite possibilities in their lives. Can you just kind of give everyone a little bit of an overview of what that really means?
Well, yes, you're absolutely right. I've always said that meditation is an answer to prayer because in prayer, or even just asking, where do I go? Who am I? What do I do? Well, if you're putting that energy out to the universe, what is the answer to that question? If you don't sit and be quiet and listen, you will never hear the answers.
Mm.
It's like the opportunity knocks on the door. If
Mhm.
you're busy doing all the time and not being, I always say, you get a pile of doo-doo.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of doing all the time, there must be a time when you just be, and that is when the answers come in. So yes, it is balanced to prayer because you ask, so that's putting out a question, putting out energy, then you must listen to receive it.
Mm.
Give and receive, one of the seven spiritual laws. Giving and joyfully giving and receiving. That is the way Mother Nature works, the ebb and flow of the oceans. Really, like I said earlier, looking at nature is the answer to it. And
Mm.
nature gives out energy and receives energy. That's what meditation is and prayer is, or asking,
Yeah, for
simply
sure.
put.
Yeah, I always remember you saying that because I don't necessarily pray per se, um, but how can you get what you want if you don't actually know and ask for it?
Exactly. Well, that's why I said earlier that my mother had taught me define what you don't like. And
Mm.
then once you define that, then that pushes that aside. So it's a process of elimination.
Mm.
Then you say, well, maybe I like that. I'm not really sure. And sleeping on it, that's an old phrase, but it's also true because once again, what you're doing is allowing your soul to speak to you, your inner
Mm.
body, your inner mind to speak to you. Oftentimes we get great ideas when we wake up. We have a
Mm.
dream or something like that. And we always say, too, before meditation, plant a seed in the universe. The seed is the question. You plant a seed in the universe, say, should I take this job or that job? I don't know which one is better for me. So you plant that seed. And then when you meditate, you're listening. And it's amazing how many, I mean, I can't tell you the things that have come to me in meditation that never would have come to me if I hadn't meditated because I would have been
Mm.
too busy doing all the time. So I wouldn't have had time to just rest and let my mind and body rest. We all need rest. We're cyclical people, rest, activity, rest, activity.
Totally. And
Mm.
I mean, I guess that perfectly leads into mind-body restoration. Obviously getting enough sleep and enough rest in our lives, but I mean, you would be a huge proponent of also fitting in regular meditation as well.
Well, the body only heals itself when you're sleeping.
Mm.
So we need to sleep.
Mm.
They've done so much research
Mm.
on even losing weight. The best way to lose weight is to sleep. Now, many people thought, no, I need to exercise all the time. No, life is cyclical.
Mm.
Rest, activity. You need to have that balance. And like I said earlier, Dr. James Diadamo taught me that everybody is different. So you know when you feel good, when you wake up energized, how much sleep you need. And really, sleep deprivation is a huge problem worldwide, everywhere
Oh.
I go. Huge problem. And I'm sure Dave sees it in his chiropractic practice because it affects the nervous system of the body. It
Mm.
affects the bones. You don't think straight. You don't walk straight. You
Yeah.
end up doing silly things, which I have done when I'm too tired to think. We all know that.
Yeah.
But I guess until we really accept natural facts of life will we begin to change. So I would recommend to people where to start. Get plenty of sleep, get
Mm.
plenty of rest, get plenty of fun, have a good time because we know we're in a great frame of mind. We're more creative then as well. We're
Mm.
not burdened and have negativity around us, which brings us down and depresses
Mm.
us. Really hard to think through all of that. So you
Totally.
have to start off with taking care of yourself because if you don't, no one else will.
Absolutely. Um, I it just came to me that we probably should clarify for all of the viewers, um, because I'm sure most people know that I'm now based in Ottawa, Canada, but you are no longer in New Zealand either because you've come back to North America to be close to your family. So maybe just give everyone a quick overview of what you're doing, where you are, and just a little bit about your business.
Well, right now I'm outside of Rochester, New York. That's where I was born and raised. And my family is here, my grandchildren here. Well, my one son is here, my other one's in Connecticut. So only 5 hours away, not far. My brother is here and his kids. And so I came back here for many different reasons.
Mhm.
However, I will not spend another winter. So I will be out west come winters, or I might go back home to New Zealand because I am a permanent resident there. I can go back home at any time. So I'm going to really focus on keeping the summer in my life all year round, as I have been actually for the last few years. But I'm going to work out of Rochester, and I'm just, because I've only been back here, well, it's a year next month that I came back from New Zealand for the last time. I mean, I plan on going again. So, and I've been busy with, I brought a boy from Nepal to get situated here. And so I've been busy with that and family. Now
Mm.
I'm just starting to get back into my work. I'm just finishing working on my website for that information called Being Your Personal Best. And with personal development here, I started doing workshops, the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success.
Mm.
One of my books is Inspirations for Women because I understand about being a woman after I've been a woman for over 66
Oh,
years. So,
really?
yeah, so I do understand. But I also wrote a book about men, Inspirations for Men, only because I have talked to a lot of men and they are different than women. And then the last book was my inspirations from my wanderings because I've traveled a lot around the world. I've seen a lot, done a lot of research, but mostly I focus on helping people um, attain their personal best by doing all these things that we're talking about, taking care of themselves holistically. Soul energy clearing is something I created in New Zealand based on my trainings in America. And it's been very successful and fun. And I teach people how to do that. I'm starting to do that now. I'm seeing clients again here. So I'm just starting out again, getting my feet wet because I haven't lived in Rochester, New York in 45 years.
Wow.
So it's changed a wee bit since I left. So I need to get acclimated here as to how the people, because they're different than Kiwis and they're different than Canadians. And so you just try to figure out who your audience is and how can you help them because
Mm.
everybody is so unique. But applying all the principles of what I believe in to help people, remind them. Really, what it is reminding people. We all know this stuff. Nothing's new. However, we forget,
Mm.
and we need to be reminded. So I think your work, my work, we're all here just to remind people and ourselves, because
Yeah.
we can get lost along the path too. As with children, as you have your beautiful daughter, we get lost along the way. So
Yeah.
we need reminders. That's what we have friends for too. Friends and
Absolutely.
classes and workshops and movies and TV and whatever. Books, great books.
Yeah, well, it's been so amazing to reconnect with you, Barb.
Yeah, me too.
We've been in touch, but it's just so nice to have sat down with you and had some really good conversations. So thank you
Like New
so
Zealand.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
thank you so much for taking the time to share your wisdom with everyone.
thank
Um,
you.
and given that it's an evolved exchange, one last piece of advice to the listeners. If someone's wanting to reach their full potential and sustain their results, what is the first thing that comes to your mind that you would recommend?
Meditate.
Yeah,
Listen.
yeah.
Always. That's the beginning and the end of everything because we all know everything intuitively, whatever you want to call it. I believe Beethoven didn't create that music. I believe he channeled it. He listened. He went in and he was able to bring that beautiful music forward. We all have beautiful music within us and we need to sing our song.
Absolutely, that's a great way to finish. So thank you so much, Barb, and I'll obviously make your information available for anyone that wants to contact you. But we will definitely be catching up soon.
I hope so. I've missed you. Thank you so much for
Oh,
asking. My pleasure.
and also we'll do some more interviews because I think you've got a lot to say.
Yeah, you know me. I can never shut up. It's what I'm not saying right now.
Cool. Thanks so much, Barb. Bye.